loves, it's Nika. Today I wanted to review for you something new, and this is Becca Ombre Nudes eye palette. It comes in the typical Becca box, brown box. The palette is, I mean, you can see the fingerprints because it's very high gloss and that very lovely chocolate brown color, and it's nice and slim. Inside you have 5 shadows. They don't have names, just numbers, and they are all matte, and as the name suggests, they are nudes and they ombre, so they go from the lightest to darkest. Let me tell you a bit how I got it. I am subscribed to Becca's website, and every time something new comes out or any deals, I get emails. And I got email with this palette, and I thought, I haven't seen any eyeshadows really from Becca, apart from those tints, you know, in the little pots. And because I don't have the Naked Basic 1 and 2, I thought that could be something similar. Naked Basic 1 is warm and the 2 is cool, and the 2 looks very, very cool. Even though I like cool colors, I was afraid that that would be too cool for me. But when I looked at the Becca shadows, I just went on Google and looked at some swatches. To me, they are more on the cool side, but not that cool. So to me, this palette sort of sits in between Naked Basics 1 and Naked Basics 2. It's in between those two, so it's more neutral browns, I would say, and I will swatch them for you. So I would say that the size of them is sort of MAC eyeshadow size. Now, they are matte, therefore they are quite powdery. But if you top them off, they don't have much fallout at all. And the color payoff is not, they are not terribly greatly pigmented, but they blend beautifully like butter. And for some reason, I actually like the fact that they are not that pigmented. You know, with some matte eyeshadows, they are so pigmented that you just dip your brush and put it on your eye and you're left with that big dark blob of color. With this, you can really build it up. And I am wearing this palette on today. The one in the middle is not from this palette, and tutorial for this look, this get ready with me, will come after this review, so you can see how I did that. Let me swatch it. If I was you, I use good primer. I've used the Urban Decay because you don't see the color payoff. So let me do the first color, which is the lightest. It's barely there. It reminds me a bit of that color in Charlotte Tilbury's palette, the Sophisticate, and I've got this palette, and that shade hardly does anything. But what I find this shade good for is for just under your brow, and that's where I've put it. If you don't want that shimmery shiny finish under your brow, just a bit of brightness, that's where I would use this. If you are darker, then it obviously will show up more if your skin is darker. So that was the first shade. Now the second shade. The first one is like a creamy, very pale peach. So they don't swatch terribly well, but on your eyes, oh, you can see it. They do really well. They are so powdery, but once you blend them in, they look very creamy and satiny. So this is the second color, and it is like a taupey nude. Then the third color, they're all browns, obviously. And like I said, on a cooler side, but I don't think they are as cold and as cool as the Naked Basics 2. So that's your third shade. It's a bit warmer. Now the fourth shade, getting a bit darker. Yes. Okay, the fourth shade. There it is. So I don't know if you agree with me, but I think, like I said, they are more on cooler side, but they don't have that much grey in them. I would say they are almost like neutral browns. And the darkest one, which is very dark, God, where am I going to put it? Beautiful, beautiful dark brown. The finish is satin, so it's not very chalky and powdery, even though when you put your brush in they seem a bit powdery, but that's quite normal with matte eyeshadows. So all in all, when I first got this palette, I looked at it, when I swatched it, I thought, oh, I don't know if I've made a mistake, but I have used it now for a couple of days and I absolutely love it. It is fantastic for mature eyes because obviously you have matte finishes, because it is not so pigmented and you can build up your look. It's easy, it's your staple everyday palette. So if you have the Naked Basics 1 or 2, you don't need to get this one, you have enough. But if you haven't and you'd like to try the Becca, I would recommend it. I think the price is the same as the basic palette. So that was my review of this cute little palette. Thank you very much for watching and I see you soon. Bye!